Hello and welcome to our space. Today, I want to introduce a topic that has been fundamental in the pursuit of a more balanced and meaningful life. The 7 Stoic principles to cultivate self-discipline in daily life. I believe this will bring a new perspective and help you incorporate important practices to maintain consistency in your daily activities. Stoicism, for those unfamiliar, is an ancient Greek philosophy that teaches us how to live a centered and calm life without being disturbed by external events. But why draw a parallel between Stoicism and self-discipline? The answer is simple. This ancient philosophy contains powerful principles that, if applied in everyday life, can strengthen our discipline and lead to a more fulfilling existence. The importance of Stoicism extends beyond history books. It reaches into our modern era, where constant agitation distances us from our center and prevents us from progressing toward our goals. This timeless wisdom, created thousands of years ago, offers us tools to face contemporary life's challenges with patience, determination, and of course, discipline. Prepare yourself for a journey of introspection, transformation, and growth as we dive deep into this valuable philosophy. Let's take the first step toward incorporating self-discipline into your routine, transforming your mindset, and perhaps even your life. We all share a common goal: to live the best life we can. However, maintaining healthy habits and consistent routines in this pursuit of becoming the best version of ourselves can be a colossal challenge where many of us stumble. One of the most common barriers is inconsistency in maintaining a healthy routine, easily disrupted by minor setbacks or a simple loss of motivation. Imagine this scenario. You finally commit to exercising regularly, but then you miss one day, then another, and before you know it, you've fallen back into your old sedentary habits. Does this cycle of starting and then giving up sound familiar? It feels like trying to climb an escalator that's moving downwards. Without consistency and self-discipline, we always find ourselves back where we started. This is the problem we face. This is the problem we seek to solve. But as the saying goes, recognizing the problem is the first step towards solving it. Recognizing the need for self-discipline isn't just about becoming rigorously disciplined, it's about freeing ourselves from the shackles of procrastination, self-sabotage, and the arbitrary limitations we place on ourselves. Self-discipline is like a muscle that needs constant work and challenges to grow. It is fundamental to achieving our goals and elevating our quality of life. When we're self-disciplined, we gain the power to choose our responses instead of reacting impulsively. So the next question confronting us is, how can I be more self-disciplined to stick to healthy habits? This is the challenge we're about to tackle through the words of a notable group of philosophers known as the Stoics. Soon, we'll explore the first Stoic principle that will bridge the gap to self-discipline and how it can be applied to our daily lives. After all, as the motto of our channel suggests, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. So let's learn and grow together. The first Stoic principle proposes the following idea: the world is unchangeable and we must accept it as such. But what does this really mean, and how can it help us in our constant quest for self-discipline? Often, our peace of mind is disturbed by futile attempts to change what is beyond our control. Let's take a practical, everyday example. You get stuck in traffic and as a result arrive late for an important appointment. You have no control over traffic. It is an immutable aspect of the world we live in. Trying to change it is like trying to stop the rain with your bare hands. Instead, we must accept that it is beyond our control and adapt our behavior to deal with the situation. Accepting the immutability of the world can reduce our stress. Much of the tension we carry comes from frustration over trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, we can channel this energy into developing self-discipline. For instance, you could develop the habit of leaving a little earlier for your appointments. accounting for unpredictable traffic. Rather than stressing, you adapt your behavior to handle an inevitability. This is self-discipline in action. On a broader scale, accepting the world as unchangeable helps us better cope with major life events such as losses, career changes, or global occurrences beyond our individual control. By accepting that certain events are immutable, we free up our mental energy to focus on areas we can effectively improve and cultivate self-discipline. This leads us to the next principle we'll discuss. Our reactions control the outcomes. As we eagerly anticipate that, remember, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. In the next chapter, we'll talk more about our reactions and how they can shape the outcomes of our lives. We now move to the second Stoic principle. Our reactions control the outcomes. This principle teaches us that while circumstances are beyond our control, we're entirely in charge of how we react to these situations. It might seem like a simple concept on the surface, but its impact is profound and transformative when fully understood and implemented. Let's think about a typical day. The alarm clock rings, but you feel tempted to stay in bed a little longer. You face traffic on your way to work, receive a flood of emails demanding immediate responses, deal with quarrelsome colleagues, and still have to prepare dinner when you get home. All of this might feel chaotic and stressful, right? However, this is where the magic of the second Stoic principle happens. If we choose to act, not react, we can face these circumstances in a much more balanced and productive way. The key lies in taking responsibility for our responses. Instead of complaining about the traffic, you could use that time to listen to an educational podcast. If you're met with an avalanche of emails, you can organize your responses and plan your time carefully. When dealing with difficult colleagues, you can choose to disengage or respond with calm and patience. This is the hallmark of mental resilience. It's not about defeating storms, but learning to dance in the rain. This principle is closely tied to self-discipline. When we master control over our reactions, we choose how we want to feel, think, and act in any given situation or circumstance. It's a form of self-mastery that helps us develop a more realistic and useful perspective on life. As we progress on the journey of self-discipline, the principle, "our reactions control the outcomes," becomes a valuable guide. Gaining the wisdom to respond rather than react allows us to navigate life with a more balanced and tranquil perspective. In essence, it's not what happens to us that matters, but how we choose to respond that truly makes the difference. Next, we'll consider the third principle. We must do hard things. Get ready to challenge your comfort zone and expand your limits of self-discipline. We are now midway through our journey exploring Stoic principles to help cultivate daily self-discipline. And speaking of discipline, we arrive at the third principle, which is highly relevant. We must do hard things. Ready to face the challenge? When we talk about hard things, we don't necessarily mean swimming in icy oceans or climbing Mount Everest. It's more about the daily challenges we tend to avoid, whether it's a daunting project, a habit we're trying to establish, or a difficult conversation we need to have. Why do we avoid these things? Hardships stress us out. They make us uncomfortable. But that is precisely why we must confront them. Discomfort is like a brick on the path to self-discipline. By accepting and facing this discomfort, we build our ability to handle any challenge life throws our way. Think about it. Have you noticed how you feel after completing a challenging task you've been avoiding? That sense of accomplishment, the relief, the peace of mind, more importantly, the confidence you gain, the belief in yourself that you can tackle difficulties. So how do we incorporate this into our daily routines? Start small. Karl Lagerfeld, the iconic fashion designer, once said, "Patience with small details makes perfection, but perfection is not a detail." Whether it's limiting social media use, waking up earlier, or dedicating time to organizational tasks, these small decisions to face daily difficulties help us build a solid foundation of self-discipline. We need to understand that every difficulty overcome is a small victory, a step towards self-discipline. By embracing discomfort, we cultivate resilience. And it is this resilience that allows us to handle the complexity of real life. Concluding the discussion of our third principle, let's move forward to the next, which demands a precise vision of reality. This fourth Stoic principle will teach us how a correct perception of reality can eliminate procrastination and promote self-discipline. Meanwhile, remember what we've learned today. Embrace hard things. As our motto goes, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. See you in the next chapter, where we promise to learn even more. Now we arrive at the fourth Stoic principle, which demands a precise vision of reality. This principle is especially relevant in a world where we are constantly surrounded by fabricated illusions and distorted images of reality, whether through social media or our own unrealistic expectations. This Stoic principle encourages us to open our eyes to the unchangeable truth around us and learn to accept it. Seeing reality through the lens of Stoicism means we must detach ourselves from our inflated emotions and biases. Often we project our desires, fears, and worries onto situations that are simply what they are, plain and emotionless. By doing so, we create our own distorted version of reality, far from the objective truth. This can lead to poorly advised decisions, procrastination, and frustration. So, ask yourself now, am I seeing reality as it is? Or is this just my version of it? Are we judging things before or after we truly understand them? When we stop to reflect and question our biases, we follow the Stoic principle of having a precise vision of reality. This principle also ties directly to eliminating procrastination and promoting self-discipline. If you make it clear to yourself that the task at hand is necessary and inevitable, you will find it easier to accept and execute it without delay. This works because our fear or aversion often stems from misunderstanding or lack of clear perception of the situation. A simple application of this principle in daily life could be observing your automatic behaviors. These are the habits we take for granted, the activities we consider mundane, the instant responses we give to others or ourselves without truly thinking. Try being fully present in those moments, freeing yourself from judgments, and simply observe reality as it is. Remember, reality is a great teacher, but we can only learn its lessons by accepting it without judgments or pretexts. As the motto of our channel goes, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. Share your thoughts on this principle and how it has improved or influenced your daily life. I look forward to learning from your stories and experiences. In the next chapter, we'll explore the fifth Stoic principle, which insists we must accept that we only have power over ourselves. Stay tuned. In our journey through the Stoic principles, we arrive at the fifth, which insists we must accept that we only have power over ourselves. This principle resonates with strength and clarity because so often we try to control the world around us, the people in our lives, the events that occur. This constant pursuit of control can create unnecessary anxiety and stress. But let's reflect. Do we truly possess the control we think we have? The answer, taken directly from the lessons of Stoicism, is a resounding no. What we really have control over is our mind, our actions, and our reactions. Understanding and accepting this not only relieves the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable, but also opens up space for the flourishing of self-mastery. When we recognize that we only have power over ourselves, we unlock a profound energy of unrealized potential. The energy that was being wasted trying to control others is now channeled into cultivating self-discipline. Our actions become more intentional. We gain greater firmness in our decisions, and we become more resilient in the face of adversity. Instead of becoming frustrated when your plans don't go as expected, why not redirect your energy to learn from the experience and improve yourself? Or, instead of resenting someone else's behavior, which is beyond your control, why not reflect on how you can respond in a wiser and more emotionally balanced way? Understand that, according to Stoicism, the focus should always be on personal improvement, on the pursuit of self-knowledge and growth, which is why it is so important to comprehend that the only real power we possess is over ourselves. By embracing this truth, you will discover that self-discipline is not only easier to cultivate, but also becomes an intrinsic Stoic characteristic in your life. As we approach the next principle, we'll see how it intertwines and strengthens this one we've just explored. Because at the heart of Stoicism, and certainly in our next principle, lies the unshakable belief that preparation leads to perfection. As always, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. In our journey through the Stoic principles, we now arrive at the sixth principle: preparation leads to perfection. This timeless wisdom reminds us that careful preparation is the key to achieving our goals. Time and again, we encounter challenges and inconveniences that test our self-discipline and resilience. However, adequate preparation for these setbacks not only strengthens our control, but also promotes consistency in our efforts. Let's consider a practical example: a runner training for a marathon. Without consistent and disciplined preparation, the athlete is unlikely to complete the course. However, if they dedicate time and effort to physical and mental preparation, anticipate possible setbacks, and create strategies to handle them, they will meet success at the finish line. The application of this principle is not limited to athletes or high-pressure situations. It can be as simple as preparing your meals for the week to avoid the temptation of fast food, or organizing your workspace to increase efficiency. Recognize that small steps of preparation in our daily lives strengthen our self-discipline and increase our chances of success. This doesn't mean we have to predict every scenario, but rather be mentally prepared to deal with adversities. By understanding and applying this sixth principle, we are not only equipping ourselves to face potential setbacks, but also taking responsibility for our actions and results. In the next chapter, we will discuss the final Stoic principle and how it leads us to the ultimate challenge, transforming reason into our primary guiding light. As always, remember the motto of our channel: in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow. We've reached the seventh and final Stoic principle. We must use reason, not emotions, to guide our actions. This principle reinforces the idea of governing our lives with logic rather than being led by our emotions. Understanding this concept is essential because all too often we make impulsive decisions or let fleeting feelings dictate our actions without considering the consequences. However, when we rely on logic and reason, we can make decisions more thoughtfully and sensibly, significantly improving the quality of our judgment. Imagine if all our decisions were made hastily, driven by emotional impulses. We would be like ships adrift in a storm, subject to the whims of emotional weather, without control or direction. This is where the importance of this final principle comes into play. Steering our actions based on logic and reason allows us to maintain stability even when navigating turbulent seas. This is not a call to repress emotions. Far from it. Emotions are a valuable part of the human experience. They bring us joy, sadness, anger, happiness, all integral parts of life's colorful mosaic. However, to maintain self-discipline, it is crucial that we do not allow these emotions to dominate us. How can we achieve this in practice? One Stoic technique is practicing contemplation. Reflect on your daily actions, analyze them critically. Why did you do what you did? Was it due to an emotional impulse or logic? How could you improve your actions in the future? Contemplation and self-assessment are powerful tools to recalibrate our internal compass, helping us navigate life with greater precision. As Homer once stated, even in adversity, greatness can be found. In this regard, emotional adversity becomes the territory where we can exercise logic and reason to govern our actions, thereby promoting self-discipline and personal growth. And now we've reached the end of this Stoic journey. But remember, as our channel's motto says, in silence, we learn, in wisdom, we grow. Learning and growth are continuous processes, and following the path of Stoicism is a way to ensure that we continue learning and growing every day. In today's journey, we explored in depth the 7 Stoic principles for cultivating self-discipline in daily life. We began by understanding how accepting the world as it is, unchangeable, can help reduce stress. We followed this by understanding that our reactions, not circumstances, control the outcomes. We adopted a courageous spirit by recognizing that we must do hard things and face challenges head-on. We also understood that a precise vision of reality, free from emotional or biased influences, is crucial for eliminating procrastination. We learned that we must accept that we only have control over ourselves, a truth that can liberate us from unnecessary attempts to control others. Our 6th principle guided us toward preparation, showing how it leads to perfection, while the 7th principle echoed the wisdom of using reason, not emotions, to guide our actions. The power of logical reasoning rather than yielding to emotional whims can significantly enhance our self-discipline. These principles equip us with a roadmap, giving us the focus needed to develop self-discipline. But these are not just theoretical lessons to be read and forgotten. They are creeds to be lived. The importance of self-discipline for our personal growth and achieving our goals is undeniable. Remember, self-discipline is not just a skill, but a way of life. It's the force that pushes us to wake up early, to take that extra cup of coffee in the middle of the night, to finish our work, to keep our goals in sight, and to pursue our dreams, no matter how difficult they may seem. And so, as we reach the end of this chapter in our journey, I want to leave you with our channel's motto: in silence, we learn. In wisdom, we grow. May these words resonate with you whenever you feel overwhelmed or lost. Remember, silence is the foundation for learning, and wisdom is the seed for growth. And so, we've reached the end of today's journey, exploring the 7 Stoic principles to cultivate self-discipline in daily life. If you felt inspired, found a valuable lesson, or believe this message needs to be heard by others, I ask you, like this video, give it a thumbs up so more people can find this content. Haven't subscribed to the channel yet? Click the subscribe button now and join our community. Turn on notifications so you don't miss future content that's on the way. And if you know someone who could benefit from this message, please share the video with them. I'd love to hear your experiences. Did this topic resonate with you? Did you have any revelations or doubts? Don't forget to leave your comments below. I promise to read every single one of them. Let's keep building this interactive and engaging environment, and as we always end here, in silence, we learn, in wisdom, we grow. See you in the next video.